During finals week, this guy in my class thought he could cheat by hiding answers on his calculator. The problem? He forgot the calculator had a wireless connection and literally broadcast his cheating attempts to every screen in the classroom when the teacher connected it to the projector. Man's face turned redder than the warning light. The whole lecture hall erupted in laughter while he just sat there contemplating his life choices. Picture this. Someone brought a live chicken to campus because they believed it would help them pass their exam if they kept it near them during the test. The chicken escaped during math class and caused absolute havoc. The bird knocked over a water bottle that destroyed like 5 laptops. Nobody knows who brought the poultry. Everyone just wanted answers about the mysterious animal. Absolute madness happened when a student decided to submit their entire essay using voice-to-text while playing a video game. The submission was filled with random controller button presses like A, B, Y, X in the middle of paragraphs. The professor gave him a 0 without even reading past the initial page. His parents called asking why he failed so spectacularly. This kid in my dorm kept his room so filthy that fungus actually started growing in the corner. When the RA finally stepped in, they found a whole ecosystem happening behind his bed. He genuinely thought it was part of nature and shouldn't be disturbed. The health department had to get involved. They basically condemned the space until he cleaned everything. Last semester, a girl walked into her final exam completely convinced it was a different subject. She spent the entire 3 hours answering history questions when the test was actually chemistry. She only realized the mistake while walking out. She actually got a few answers right by accident. When she realized her error, she just stood there frozen. Our entire study group got locked in the library because someone decided to hide in the stacks as a joke. The janitor didn't notice us during closing and locked all the doors. We had to bang on windows for 40 minutes until security showed up. That guy got banned from the library for a year. We still bring up how stupid that prank was. Nobody believed me when I said my roommate tried to dry his laptop with a hair dryer after spilling coffee on it. Not only did it not work, but the heat permanently warped the keyboard and melted some internal components. He actually charged it to his university insurance as water damage. When they investigated, he just shrugged and claimed ignorance. Insurance rejected him obviously. This absolutely happened. A student showed up to an exam wearing pajamas with a full body pillow, claiming his anxiety medication made him unable to function without the pillow's comfort. The professor actually let him stay. He got a B somehow. Everyone just stared at him carrying that giant pillow into the exam hall. Honestly, it was the boldest move ever. One morning, someone in our building microwaved an entire raw egg without poking any holes in it. When it exploded, it somehow ended up on the ceiling fan and painted the entire cafeteria wall. Nobody claimed responsibility, and they never found out who did it. Egg was stuck there for weeks, leaving this yellow crusty reminder. The smell was unbelievable. Watching my classmate Google the definition of the book we were supposed to read while the professor was explaining it was peak comedy. Dude actually raised his hand to answer a question using the definition he just found. The professor knew immediately and just walked away. Everyone in class tried not to laugh. He genuinely thought he was being clever. My friend genuinely thought you could download information directly into your brain if you just slept with textbooks under your pillow. He did this for 2 weeks straight. When he failed the test, he blamed the pillow brand for being incompatible with his learning style. His logic was absolutely wild. We told him that was ridiculous, but he never admitted defeat. This actually went down. Someone submitted their assignment, which was just a picture of the assignment requirements they found online, printed out and photographed. They didn't even change the document name. The title was still "The Assignment You Need to Do." Professor made them redo it in front of the whole classroom. Humiliation level was maximum. Everyone watched him suffer through rewriting it. One guy in our physics class tried to prove gravity didn't exist by throwing himself out a window onto a pile of pillows. Security got involved. He broke his arm and somehow still tried to argue his point from the hospital. His parents pulled him from the university immediately. That was the most insane experiment I'd ever witnessed. Natural selection at its finest. I witnessed a student bring a printer to a lecture because he kept forgetting to print his notes before sessions. He literally installed it at his desk. When the professor asked him what was happening, he acted like it was completely normal. The professor just let it happen. Ink cartridges became his new priority apparently. Everyone just accepted this weird setup. My roommate tried to make instant noodles in an electric kettle while still wearing headphones in bed. The cord got tangled, he panicked, and knocked the entire kettle onto his bed and himself. He spent 3 days with burns and his technology never recovered. Still doesn't see what he did wrong. Burned himself for convenience basically. During a group venture, someone submitted their portion which was obviously just copied from Wikipedia. The only indication they actually did any work was their browser history accidentally pasted into the document. We could literally see the Google search timestamps. His contribution was worthless and obvious. We had to redo everything without him. This dude was so desperate to skip sessions that he sent his twin brother to take the exam instead. Security cameras caught them switching places in the bathroom. Both got expelled, and somehow his parents sued the university for entrapment. The lawsuit lasted longer than his enrollment. It was the dumbest scheme imaginable. Consequences were severe, obviously. Never forget the student who set their dorm room on fire trying to hide the smell of their cooking experiments. They thought microwaving fish inside a sealed container would somehow not create problems. The smoke detector went off immediately. The entire floor had to evacuate, and it cost thousands in destruction. Fire department arrived within minutes. That guy's tuition was basically burned up. My classmate wore the same outfit every single day for an entire semester because he read that Steve Jobs did it and thought it would make him smarter. By month 4, the clothes were literally falling apart. People kept asking if he was okay. He actually thought he was being some kind of revolutionary. The fabric degradation was visible. He finally washed them once. Okay, so this girl submitted her entire paper written in Shakespeare's language because she thought it would seem more academic and impressive. She had used some medieval translator online. The professor literally couldn't understand what she was trying to communicate. She got a D and refused to accept feedback. Hath thou ever seen such arrogance? The whole approach was foolish. Our biology seminar had someone who was absolutely convinced that vaccines would interfere with their spiritual energy. They tried to file a religious exemption, but their religion didn't exist. They made it up in the paperwork. The university actually called them out with documentation, and they got suspended. Their fabrication was immediately obvious. Institution doesn't mess around with that stuff. This happened right in front of me. A student tried to turn in a PDF of their written composition that was actually just a screenshot of their bathroom mirror selfie zoomed in really far. I think they were trying to be funny, but the instructor didn't find it amusing at all. Automatic 0 penalty applied. His attempt at humor backfired spectacularly. Taking accountability was impossible for him. My pseudomate spent 4 hours setting up an elaborate system of mirrors and strings to redirect his laptop webcam angle because he didn't want to move his bed during an online assessment. The system collapsed 30 minutes into the test. He failed because half the evaluation occurred while the camera was pointed at his pillow. Engineering the setup wasted valuable time. His priorities were completely backwards. During midterms, someone in the study lounge was so stressed that they fell asleep on their laptop while typing their composition. When they woke up, they had apparently typed 7,000 words of just the letter J repeated over and over. They tried to submit it anyway, hoping the instructor wouldn't notice. Obviously, that failed spectacularly. Keystroke repetition doesn't equal academic effort. This dude genuinely thought that if he paid someone else to take his online seminar, nobody would know. Except the person he hired was actually someone he knew, and they started showing up to the in-person assessments pretending to be him. They looked nothing alike. Both got reported by the proctor. Impersonation charges followed. Consequences were definitely coming for both of them. I watched someone try to fix their broken laptop screen by duct tapping a smartphone onto the cracked monitor, displaying the technology's screen via some streaming app. It actually worked for like 2 days before the phone overheated and melted partially. Peak improvisation. The melted plastic smell was horrible. That's what happens with lazy fixes. My roommate tried to convince me that drinking cold water before bed would help him retain information better while sleeping. He drank so much water he got up 5 times during the evening and completely exhausted himself. Failed the test because he was too tired. Still blames his hydration strategy. Biological science wasn't his thing apparently. His reasoning was fundamentally flawed. This absolutely went viral in our group conversation. Someone's group presentation was just a continuous loop of the same 30-second clip, repeated over and over because they didn't know how to properly edit the slideshow. It played for like 3 minutes straight while everyone just stared in confusion. Awkward silence filled the room. His editing skills were non-existent. Our seminar had a student who treated every composition like they were writing a love letter. The purple prose, the dramatic statements, the weird metaphors about how the material was like a river of emotions. The professor made them read it aloud in front of the group. Absolutely mortifying for sure. His embarrassment was well-deserved basically. Here's the thing. Someone in our dorm tried to charge their laptop using a phone charger because they thought electricity was universal. When it didn't work, they tried a USB cable straight from a wall outlet. Short-circuited the entire outlet and blew the breaker for 3 rooms. Facilities was furious. Ignorance about basic electrical safety was dangerous. They had to pay for damages, obviously. My friend's roommate stayed up for 48 hours straight trying to finish a semester venture because he thought time worked differently at night time. Like he genuinely believed he could accomplish more per hour after midnight. He hallucinated and thought his device was talking to him by hour 36. Mental exhaustion was completely real. Consequence was immediate failure basically. This guy submitted the same composition for 3 different seminars because he thought each instructor had their own separate cloud storage and would never cross-check. The 3 professors literally had lunch together regularly. They all assigned him the same failing mark. He got academic probation immediately. His scheme was transparently dumb. Coordination between faculty destroyed everything. Our study group watched someone attempt to take notes using their phone's voice recorder while the instructor was lecturing. They thought it would automatically convert to text. It didn't. They got hours of audio with 17% accuracy. Transcription just said things like, and banana and shoes repeatedly. Technology failed them spectacularly. Manual note-taking would have been faster. The wildest thing I ever witnessed. A student brought their emotional support llama to a final assessment, like an actual llama. They had paperwork and everything claiming it was a registered service creature. The instructor made them keep it outside tied to the bike rack. It spat on someone's backpack hard. Lawsuits somehow didn't happen despite the animal incident. Unconventional support came with consequences. My roommate was so paranoid about forgetting his assessment time that he set 17 phone alarms for it, all different times, all blaring different loud notifications. They went off simultaneously during the test itself and got him kicked out before he even started. He still argues it was a legitimate safety measure. Irony was lost on him completely. Overthinking destroyed his chances.